obstacle for you. Not that she doesn't enjoy kissing Fred, but she's worried that you're gonna like go overboard. Anyhow, so you are to, if you want them to kiss, you are to tinkle your glass, and that's to acknowledge that everybody should pay attention to you, because you are gonna get up and come onto the stage, and you have one chance. You can do this many times over the night, but after one tinkling glass, you only have one chance. You can stand, we haven't actually determined how far away you have to stand, but you have one beanbag and you have to get it in the hole. And you can use whatever graphic displays you want in your mind, but you have to get it in the hole and then they will give a kiss. Okay? So that's rule number 1. Okay? 5 feet back. Erica's saying 5 feet. So 5 feet from the hole or 5 feet from the end of the
end of the board. That's pretty close.
Close.
Pretty close.
And if this becomes really difficult and they aren't getting any kissing time in, we will modify it so that maybe you get 2 tries or 3 tries. But we'll see how it goes, okay? We're going to do a few little things before we get on to dinner. Dinner's just getting all served up for us there. But you will notice that the table that you're sitting at has an animal. Even if it's named spinach dip. It's not actually spinach dip, it is an animal. So these are all animals that have been residents of the farm, some in more the pet-like capacity. Anyhow, you don't have to feel bad about who are we eating tonight, okay? Because you will see many of them are beef animals. There is no beef on the menu for dinner, okay? So eat happily, knowing you're not eating anybody's favorite pet. Okay? So when it comes time for the food, I will draw a table name out of the bag, and that's how we're going to do it. Right now, though, I would like to start with Kevin. Kevin is going to say a few words for us. Kevin is Fred's brother, remember.
Hello. So I'm Fred's. Oh, hi. I'm Fred's tall brother. Much younger brother. I'll be fast here, faster than it takes Fred to get out of the car. If any of you have traveled with him, you know what I mean. I was lucky enough to be there at the beginning when these folks met, and we planned this trip to go to Mexico, and it was Fred, my sisters, Loretto, Mary, and who else? And then Ann and I, and cousins on the other side. Who did I miss? Carol. Yes. So anyhow, we were told not to go, being COVID, but the deal was, and this is our defense, they said if you do go, you have to be back. When you come back, you've got to isolate for 2 weeks, which we figured we all had enough stuff to do around the house. We could do that. Anyhow, when we arrived, Ann and I arrived. Fred, Mary, and Loretto were already there, and they'd just come back from shopping. And Fred had these groceries that he was kind of carrying around in this bag full of paper towels. And everywhere we went, we had the paper towels. So finally, we're having dinner. Well, we go to have dinner. We go up top to have some wine prior to dinner, and then we're called to go down. And while we were there, we met Fiona and her friend, Penny. And they joined us, and we're chatting, and we go down to have dinner. The ladies go to the bathroom on the way back, and my wife Ann could hear Fiona saying that he seems nice. I'd like to get to know him. And Ann turns around and said, he is nice, you could come and join us. So that's how that started. So, but after a few drinks, actually several drinks, and it clicked to me finally what the paper towels are all about. The quicker picker upper. So,
You hadn't heard that before?
now I too was married. I married the same woman twice, but in my situation was my wife is Fijian, so we had a Fijian and a white wedding, and I think this was more for a memory thing for Fred to remember when his wedding day was. Not that age was an issue at all. Fiona is actually 6 months younger than I am, and I really had this great idea. I've got this family photo that I was going to make pictures of and show it, and there's a picture of Fred sitting on the ground with the older ones and then the young ones in the front, and my mom's holding this baby. Well, I'm the baby. So that would give the perspective of the age difference here. But I mean, Fred being from Florida, I believe Nancy Pelosi was actually making a phone call, just concerned about the age. But I think we're good. We're good. Anyhow, I'm here to make a toast to these wonderful couple. I'm so happy to have been part of them getting together, and I look forward to meeting you all. And your family's been amazing, and the the sense of humor on both sides of the family is quite clear. I wasn't in the house 5 minutes meeting your mother, who is a lovely woman, and it wasn't 5 minutes, and she's like, now I know how I'm going to tell them apart. This was when I bent over and she saw the bald spot on my head. If you could all join me in raising a glass to Fred and Fiona.
Good job. Kiana hadn't heard the quicker picker upper.
I was quite high at the time. It's just I just started killing myself laughing.
So Fred
Dennis
just
sitting
would like, and Fiona would just like to
Dennis is
acknowledge the fact that
He's over there.
they've had a great number of helpers get this farm all tidied up and beautified, and looks like professional decorators came in. They had somebody say, oh, did you have a wedding planner? No, they did all this themselves. And the other night I was like going to drop by, and I said, well, how about I come by after dinner? And she goes, well, right now we're eating dinner at about 10 o'clock at night because we're busy working. So a great big thank you to the very many people that made this possible. You all know who you are, so I can't list you all off. And then I think they will acknowledge later, but they also wanted to thank all the people that came from far and wide. There are people from Florida, from all over that came, and so they greatly appreciate your having made the effort to come and join them on their special day. Okay. Now, for something completely different, we have an interesting, eclectic little group of friends, the ones that were responsible for the hillbilly wedding, that would like to make a little presentation. And so I'm going to invite Leslie Smith and Gord Smith, and Joan and Dave and Kelly, and we'll see what they surprise you with. Beware.
He's the guy from Hamilton. He's the guy from Hamilton. He's the guy from Hamilton. The hammer.
Okay, he can jump. For moi?
The seat's tight.
Howdy.
Where you been?
Kevin's already pulled a chair away from me today, so let me give him the opportunity twice.
Fiona
I
does
was
not
up
kiss
there
and
with
tell.
Rob and Kevin.
It is the one
Not the
trait of this exceptional woman that drives me crazy. Over the 35 years that we have been friends, raised families, traveled, partied, celebrated momentous occasions, developed careers and businesses, and even mourned together, I have learned like you, that she is loving, loyal, considerate, a fierce advocate, perpetually late, fun, generous, and a good cook, to name a few of her qualities. But she is not loquacious. During her independent days, we, the members of her clan, would wonder, is she dating or not? Getting details out of her was like getting a pizza pie, a pepperoni pizza pie, out of a vegan food truck. It wasn't happening. Not until spring break, March 2020. While the rest of the world was grim and in lockdown, our girl smiled. She giggled. She glowed. And eventually, she dropped a few little tiny hints about the man we nicknamed Mexico Man. What's he like? We would ask. He's funny, she would say. Days later, and he's smart. A little nugget for our inquiring minds. After a week and several glasses of wine, she would blush, and he's kind. A bone thrown in our direction. During Susan's many Zoom game nights, we would ask, how did you meet? Well, you know, in Mexico. Ah! So tonight, my friends, we intend to correct a wrong, and we are here to celebrate. So, we are going to tell you some stories, some tales, origin tales of this love. And you are going to help us choose which one is going to be the story. Sorry, Kevin, you might be voted off the island. You are going to choose which story is going to be the long-lasting origin story of this great love. And I'm going to start with the first one. Story number 1 is called Thanks to the Sisters. After a long, cold winter, our beloved sun worshiper, Fiona, and her friend Penny decided to spend spring break in beautiful Huatulco, Mexico. The goal was to thaw out, get tanned, and drink their body weight in margaritas. As you all know, the world turned upside down on March 13th as COVID was declared as a pandemic, and traveling Canadians were told to come home. Despite Fiona's mom's desperate pleas, Fiona and Penny decided they were much safer staying in the southern sun than in an airport. So they stayed put. Soon the Park Royal Resort was beginning to look like a ghost town, and there were very few guests left. Really, only 2. Fiona and Penny, and a traveling band called Fred and the Fords. With few bodies cluttering his view, Fred was intrigued by our beguiling friend. He wanted to approach her, but he was rooted in uncertainty. A shy Fred, imagine that. He wanted to talk to our sun-drenched beauty, her charming laugh, her green eyes, her tiny bikini. But try as he might, he simply could not muster the nerve. Then, on March 16th, days before his departure and an uncertain future, he asked his sisters, "See that woman over there? Have you met her? Do you think she and her companion are a couple? They're not really giving a gay vibe. Do you think she's married? She doesn't look married. She's not wearing a ring. Did you see a ring?" Well, you know what they do. Sisters, they make things right. So, the sisters took action. Mary told him to grow a pair. Anne stood up, marched over to Fiona and Penny's table, and invited them to join. Loretto placed Fiona carefully next to Fred. And our Mexico man, finally, thanks entirely to his sisters, regained his customary charming cool. And as they say, the rest is history. To the sisters, thank you. Story number 2, that is called Thanks to a Flip-Flop, is coming to you from David Lasoke.
This is thanks to a flip-flop. After several days on the beach, Fred, feeling relaxed, tanned and tequila'd up. Salsa music was echoing through the Park Royal Resort, and it was time, I told Fred that it was time for dance lessons. COVID had not yet caused chaos, and the poolside deck was full of the swaying hips. From across the deep end, Fred saw a blonde-haired, green-eyed beauty, positioning himself in her line of vision. Fred extended a hand, and Fiona accepted. Sorry. She took it, and they laughed, and they danced till dawn. As the story goes, she took his heart and left a flip-flop behind. The next morning, with the flip-flop in hand, our Prince Charming searched for her, but she was nowhere to be seen. Cruising the beach, Fred had every woman on the beach try on this frickin' flip-flop. Husbands were not impressed. They were long feet, they were short feet, they were fat feet, and they were hairy feet. The days passed joylessly. Then COVID was declared a pandemic and the snowbirds fled. And there, as the crowd thinned, he saw her. A gorgeous, tan, green-eyed beauty, hiding in plain sight at the gift shop. As he knelt in front of her, he slid her foot into the sandal and he said, "I have been looking for you." And Fiona said, "I have been looking for that flip-flop." The next story is thanks to a bikini, as told by David and Kelly Slade.
I put mine on. Oh, I figured you could hold it.
Okay,
On your dress fitting.
origin story number 3. So we have been asked to read a poem written by and adapted from the esteemed American poet Paul Vance, with poetic license by Leslie Smith, which I think captures the origin of Fred and Fiona's Mexican love story. And I think that you may agree afterwards that Leslie Smith's poetic license should be revoked immediately. But this is going to require a little bit of audience participation, so stick with us. So, this is a poem about love and lust, about pursuit, about patience, about trauma and triumph. It is truly the story of the art of human life since the dawn of civilization. So here we go, the poem. She was afraid to come out of the water. She was as nervous as she could be. She was afraid to come out of the water. She was afraid that someone would see.
1, 2, 3, 4. Tell the people what she wore.
It was an itsy bitsy, teeny weeny, yellow polka dot bikini that she wore for the first time that day. An itsy bitsy, teeny weeny, yellow polka dot bikini that was quickly floating away.
1, 2, 3, 4. Stick around, we'll tell you more.
Now a man wandered along by the shoreline, and our bare-breasted girl did he see. Our gent quickly dashed in the water, in case mouth to mouth was in need.
One, two, three, four. Tell the people what he wore.
It was an itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow colored Speedo that he wore for the first time that day, an itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow Speedo colored Speedo eenie. In the water they frolicked and played. Come back.
All right. 4, 3, 2, 1. Patience, please. We're almost done.
She memorized the whole thing. That's the tale of our two swimming lovers and their lives that have joined this fine day. We gather to wish only good things, and we know that in love they will stay. And now, it was an itsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini that she wore for the first time that day. Are you doing the? Yeah, he is. Is that you? Okay.
And now, dear friends, we kind of have Disneyfied, the Walt Disney version of reality. But you know how Pocahontas, as you've seen it on Walt Disney, has become history. And, Sleeping Beauty, as you saw it in Walt Disney, that's the way you remember it, and that's become your real history. So we're going to create the beginning, the history tonight that will go with all of us and with all of them through the rest of their lives. And you are going to have an impact on how that occurs, because you are going to make your presence known with a vote for this. And in fact, Joan, right behind me here, her job with Dave is to make sure that you understand completely that this is an applause-o-meter. Now, I didn't know until last night that I had to create an applause-o-meter. I didn't have one already, and so Leslie wanted something that was really accurate, and I thought, okay, so I'll get something with, maybe two, sound-absorbing, sensing systems. So those are my ears. And maybe a very basic processing unit, which is my brain. And beyond that, it is digital because I move it with my hands. So it's highly accurate. What we're going to do is get you with each of these. I will announce them. You can only vote once. It makes our lives so much easier making this decision up here. And with your applause and everything else that you might muster for the one that you choose, you will let us know. And the applause-o-meter will move accordingly. I need that broom, please. Oh, broom. Oh. No, it's okay. I can do that. So, remember, you can only vote once. This is our digital system. Now, introduced in order of their reading are number 1, Thanks to the Sisters. You saw where that got you. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right. Now, Thanks to a flip-flop. Pretty good still, pretty good. And the last one that we have here is thanks to a very teeny weeny bikini. There we have it, folks. So thank you to everyone, to the newlyweds. We gift you your story and wish you a life of health and happiness. To Fiona and the Mexico Man. There we go.
No, after tomorrow. No. Tomorrow. No. I think if people had enough. Tomorrow's fine.
Sometimes late at night, I'll lie awake and watch her sleeping. She's lost in peaceful dreams, so I turn out the lights and lay there in the dark. And the thought crosses my mind, if I never wake up in the morning, I feel about will she know how much I love her? And I try every way to show her every day that she's my own. Ain't that time on earth?
How long the ice be on top?
Will be no place that tomorrow never comes. 'Cause I lost loved ones in my life who never knew how much I loved them. Now I live with the regret that my true feelings for never were. Circumstance where there's no second chance to tell her how I feel. If tomorrow never comes, will she know how much I love her? And I try everywhere to show her every day that she's my one. This world without me is a love of carrying the best, being a good that tomorrow never comes. Tell that someone that you love just what you're thinking of, that tomorrow never comes. Then our friend